good morning, good afternoon, whoever is listening from all over the map. Hope you all doing well. If you can hear me okay. I'm just doing some testing right now, making sure that my audio is good. And maybe let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. Looks like there's a little bit of a lag, but that's okay. That's okay. How is everyone doing? Love to see where you guys are from, where you're listening from, what you guys are doing. I know it's a Sunday on LinkedIn, so it's your day off, but I'm happy you guys are here and coming in to maybe learn how to make some content. Yes, you can hear you. Thank you, Tanya. Always my sidekick. Thank you. This is how I start the morning with my good morning handsome mug. I'm just gonna wait a little bit just for people to come on in. I see we have a few people online. Just want to make sure everyone has time to log in, see if they want to participate in this. I'll talk a little bit about what I'll be sharing today. It's not going to be too long. I want to make it, short and sweet and valuable to you guys. But I'm going to be talking about how to start creating content. I am a content marketer. I am a videographer, photographer, what have you. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my journey, but also sharing about how you guys can start creating content, maybe for your business, for your personal brand, for whatever you might be doing, and maybe just for fun. Just you want to learn a new skill as we're entering to the digital age where people are working remote, and it's become way more common for people to, use those skills in the workplace. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. So we're about 5 or so minutes in, so maybe I'll get started and really introduce myself and talk about and share what we're going to be discussing today. And by all means, comment, questions, concerns. If you can't hear me or something, just let me know. But other than that, I prepared a little bit of a presentation for you guys. Hopefully it's not too mind-numbing, but presentation for you guys to make sure we're on schedule and we're on point to the topics that we'll be talking about today. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in here, and there's my lovely face. But really quick, for those of you guys who may not know who I am or what I'm all about, I like to describe myself as a digital storyteller. I like to bring stories to life with digital media. What that really means is I specialize in content creation, video, photo, and podcast production, brand, and social media management. So anything to do with online, digital marketing, content marketing that is taking place online, I'm kind of the man for. I'm kind of the guy and I do this full time. I do this full time at a company called Simply PHP, where we are located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where I do this day in and day out. We manage podcasts, we do content creation, and as I said, video and photo and podcast production. So by any means, I'm not a guru. I don't have 40 years experience in this field, but I am a full-time content creator for Simply PHP. So I'm going to be taking you through kind of my own one man's point of view of what content creation is, how content creation can really help your business, help your personal brand, and how you can just get started. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions, like I said, comment. I'm only streaming on LinkedIn, so whether you're watching this after I post it on maybe Facebook or YouTube, this is strictly LinkedIn for now. And if this is something that you guys are interested in seeing more of, I can have more episodes about it. But without kind of further ado, I want to move on with the presentation and show you guys how you guys can get started making content. How I kind of like to start this off is giving an analogy about what content marketing is. And at least in my point of view, content marketing is kind of like a trade show where your booth is your website. and you're trying to get people from in that trade show that's relatively in your target market to come by your booth, and you have tons of competition, and the content marketing of it is the brochures, the TV with your logo and maybe a video. It's providing information and drawing people in, versus advertising, which is more transactional, more, trying to get people for a quick sale, where content marketing is really trying to bring that person in to have a conversation. And that's why I really like this analogy of a trade show, because if you've been to a trade show, this is obviously before COVID, you would understand that there's so much competition out there. And now that the internet is mature, it's very easy for companies to get up and started online. So content marketing will really help set you apart from the other competitors and other companies and personal brands that may be doing strictly advertising, and you're bringing value to people at this trade show and drawing people in. So that's how I like to describe what content marketing is. It's kind of like the word of mouth of today. It really is, and it's not traditional commercialized video production. It's everything to do with bringing value to the end consumer and bringing them into your world. So that's really what, at least in my opinion, what I think content marketing is, and how you can relate it to something maybe you've experienced in the past. But let's dive into how you can actually get started with video, creating content, video, written blogs, podcasts, whatever it might be. How do you actually start? And this is a question I get a lot from my audience is, how do I start? Where do I go? And the real answer to this is the best way to start is with why. Why are you wanting to make content? Why are you starting to make content? Is it to, like I said, drive more awareness of your brand, personal or business? Are you trying to make more sales, more customers? You have to have a why, or else, you're not going to be able to sustain the motivation to keep going making content, because making content, like I said before, is very different from advertising, right? Making content, advertising has a quick kind of ROI and transitional type method where you're looking at metrics like conversion rates and how many people clicked on an ad, and it's very, tangible results and very immediate, within days to weeks, where content marketing is more, like I mentioned, word of mouth of today. It's hard to measure the ROI directly, to your ads, to your sales, to your clients. It is the word of mouth of today. And just like word of mouth, as you know, it's very hard to track. So you have to have a strong why in order to continue this daily content creation journey that you're about to go on, and in order to actually bring value to your customers and bring value to your potential audience. So this is a great quote that I really liked from an article I read recently. And Jim said, "When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier." And it's so true. And he goes on to talk about in this article, this is from his perspective, right? So I'm just, sharing this, and I kind of condense it for you guys. But what he wanted was, his goal, his what, was, I want to earn $1 million for my business within the next 5 years. And he knew that in order to get that amount of money, which is a large sum of money, he needed to start a business and scale it and solve a big problem online, because that's where you saw where businesses are going. But what he then talks about is really the root of why he wants this $1 million, what he's going to do with it. And he talks about him being a foster child and not having the financial freedom to do what he wants to do. And so he decided to have this goal in mind so that he can help underprivileged children from broken homes and different difficult backgrounds, so that they don't have to live through the childhood he went through, right? So that is a strong why onto why he's making content, why he's starting a business, and that why will drive him endlessly to that goal, versus I just want $1 million because I want a nice car, or I want to look good in front of my friends and family. You need to have that strong why when you're making content, and it's just very, very important. So Now we covered the why. Let's talk about the how. How are we actually going to get started making content? How are you going to get started actually getting down pen and paper and writing something or crafting something, whatever it might be? How do you actually get started? And the best advice that was given to me was you just have to start. Just like riding a bike or driving a car for the first time, you can read the manual all you want, but you're never going to learn until you hop on that bike and you do it. So you have to be able to just have that mentality of just starting that, all right, I want to do this. I have to just jump in and get, and you're going to make mistakes. I mean, when I started this journey, I wasn't perfect. I still am not. But now I have a foundation on my belt because of all the experiences, and I had that mentality every day. On my phone, I had reminders on my iPhone, just start. So for me, it was hitting the record button and filming something. For you, it might be writing in your journal. You just have to start. That's kind of the big how. But let's dive in a little deeper into maybe if you're still stuck and you're not sure how to actually get started, which is a real challenge too. Don't get me wrong. Let's go over some maybe 4 steps you can ask yourself or go through when you are about to start making content. How do you communicate? This is huge, honestly. So if you're a writer, talker, or presenter, this is something that will prevent you from starting if you don't know how you communicate. For me, I'm very comfortable presenting, meaning if I was on stage, on camera, recording something, I'm very comfortable. I think it's the best way for me to communicate. And not that I'm not a good writer, but if I'm talking about how I communicate best, I'm best at presenting, at least in my perspective, right? If you're an amazing writer, you have to start with writing, because chances are if you try to film yourself, it may be very difficult. You may overthink, you may not like what you're doing or saying, and so you have to start with what you're good at, especially in the beginning, because it's so crucial, because you have to create this habit of creating content, right? So how you communicate will be very important to where you get started making content. And writing by any means is not dead. Like, blogs are not dead. Right now on LinkedIn, for the company I work for, Simply PHP, right now a lot of our written content is doing far better than some of our video content. Although all the stats, that I've been researching is that video is the dominant, video is the king. But yet our audience, they are readers and they want to look at the writing. And so we are investing more into writing. So it really just depends how you communicate. Focus on that. If you're a writer, sit down and write. That's how you can get started. Another thing is start small and think simple. You don't have to solve the biggest problem out there in the marketplace. Going back to my riding a bike for the first time kind of analogy, you're not going to start to learn how to ride a bike up the top of a mountain going down. You're going to start with the training wheels in the driveway, in a parking lot. You're going to start small. And that's the only way every day you're going to improve and build on this skill that you are creating and this benefit that you're going to be creating for your personal brand or business. So start small and think simple. And I mentioned this before with my analogy with the trade show. Don't advertise. Focus on communicating. What I mean by that is a lot of times when I see people starting to make content, they make content like this, like, "Hi, my name is Kyler and I'm going to sell you a car." People don't want the cheesy advertising. They want human to human interaction. And that's why thinking it like a trade show, if you're walking up to somewhere, someone's walking up to you and you're greeting them for the first time, you're not going to be like that. You're going to talk to them one-to-one. And that's the best way when you're starting to create content. You're not creating content for everybody in the trade show. You're creating content for the people who represent your target market, the people that would benefit from your product or service, which may be only a handful of people. Maybe out of 100 people, it's only 5. But guess what? That's 5 clients that you didn't have the other day. So don't advertise. Focus on communicating to that one person that you want to communicate to. Don't get lost in the numbers of followers and likes and comments, because those are not always your customers. Sometimes people will like something, but they're not going to buy a product from you anytime soon. So it really matters who you're talking to when you're trying to make content. The last thing that really helped me when I was stuck creating content and not sure how was I looked up questions. I looked up, what are people asking about in the marketplace? So a couple of resources that I put on here is a really good resource that I love is answerthepublic.com. So you literally type in a topic, and for instance, web development, right? I work for Simply PHP. We are a web service developing company, pardon me. And so I look up topics for what people are asking about in web development. What are people looking at when they're hiring web development companies? What questions are they asking? What keystrokes are they looking at? And this could really help generate a lot of ideas, and that your audience is researching those things. So answerthepublic.com was a great resource. It's free. With the free version, you get, I think, 2 searches a day. So it's awesome. And honestly, I use it all the time. Another one is Keywords Everywhere. This is a Chrome extension. And this one is more from an SEO perspective. So when we're posting, let's say, blog articles, I want to make sure I'm posting a really enticing title. And this will help me with, again, some of the keystrokes that people are researching, so I can best be, and this is more of a hack, if anything. But if you want to write this down, I'll maybe write it in the comments. But answerthepublic.com, Keywords Everywhere, and then Google. Honestly, you can type anything in Google and get an amazing response. How to hire a web developer, a web designer, a website designer. These are all questions that people are literally searching today. And if we create content around these things, people are going to notice our company and then want to work with us, if we bring enough value. So, understand these are some just quick hacks and tactics that you can use if you're kind of stuck with ideas. But again, it comes to, I just want to recap, how you communicate, start small, think simple, don't advertise, and answer people's questions. Okay? So I'll quickly pause to make sure everyone's good. I didn't talk too fast. If there's any questions, Todd, thank you so much for commenting. Love the start small approach. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's very important. And honestly, we tend to want to solve the biggest problem, and you just have to take small steps every day, right? But let's move on. So we talked about the why. We talked about the how. Let's talk about what you're going to create. So what are you actually going to make? And this comes down to asking yourself some important questions. What do you want to be known for? And what do you want to make? So what do you want to be known for? So for me, I'm a content creator. I'm a videographer. So I want to be the content guy. I want people to come to me asking questions around content creation, about video production, about how to manage a podcast. So that is my niche. That is where I play. And that's what I want to be known for. And why I want to be known for that is because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in making content. I find joy. I'm sitting here on a Sunday afternoon on my day off making content, and because it's something that is a passion of mine. So you have to understand, what do you want to make, and then figure out what do you want to be known for. And a big mistake I see people do is, they make things that they think the audience will like. And I've done this so many times, and it's backfired almost 100% of the time. When I make something, I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to love this. It's amazing. It's my best piece of content. And it's like, not a lot of engagement. No one really sees it. And it's almost depressing. It's almost like you put in so much work into this thing and no one cares about it. So it's very important that you have to make for yourself, and then figure out within that niche of what you want to make, what are the questions being asked in that. So again, I like to make content. That is why I like to do. So I research what questions people are asking about around content creation. The biggest one was, how do you make it? Thus, my first episode of the Making It Show being how to make content. How do you start to make content, right? So this is something, again, that will really help with the what to make out of how to make content. And a real quick tip here is there's kind of 3 different types of content creation that I kind of bucket things under. Where create, obviously you're creating things, creating a video, creating a blog, what have you. Collaboration is huge. If someone was to post something on LinkedIn and you comment, give your 2 cents, that is still making content. It's still bringing yourself to an audience that people may not know you, and you're giving your 2 cents on someone else's thought process or news, outlet, or let's say an update to a technology, and you're giving your 2 cents about it, or you're collaborating with another business, whatever it is. Very good pieces of content. So collaboration is huge. Don't think you have to create everything. Collaboration is big. And curate. So basically, you can be a curator where people are sending you information and you're sharing it. So new technologies, news in the industry, and you're just sharing it and giving your 2 cents. I mean, that is a type of content, and you could just start there. You can just start sharing things that you're interested in. And then when you feel more comfortable, you can start creating things around it, right? So these are the different types that you can start creating. So it's not always create, from your head to paper to the computer. It can also be something as easy as sharing someone else's post. Hopefully, I'm not going too fast for you guys, and this is bring a lot of value. And again, we just went through the why, the how, and now the what of how to start making content. So the last kind of W that I'm going to talk about here is the when. I mean, people all the time push off when they want to make content, when they're going to do something. Oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. It's just like fitness. We always say, oh, okay, I'm going to work out tomorrow. I'm going to do abs tomorrow. And trust me, I'm one of them. But the time is now. The time is right now to make content. Right now, like even on LinkedIn, all right? So I think in April of this year, LinkedIn came out with a stat that there's almost, 575 million users, okay, on LinkedIn. But only 40% of them are actually actively posting, meaning sharing something on the LinkedIn platform. Meaning there's 60% of users just consuming content, not posting, not sharing. That is huge. That is prime real estate. If there's ever a time to start sharing your thoughts and feelings with the world, it's now. The organic reach on this platform is huge. A post can be seen by not only hundreds, but thousands of people. And you can potentially grow your audience rapidly through this platform. So the time is now. If you can create one thing today and maybe just be a tweet of your thoughts right now in this presentation, or thoughts about something going on in the marketplace, you should do it. The time is right now to pick up that pen and start. There's no reason to wait for tomorrow. You can start right now. So that is really my presentation. I didn't want to take too much of you guys' time. I wanted to be short, concise, and valuable for you guys to make sure that you know how to start making content. And a lot of this stuff, guys, is the mindset of making content, what I do every single day. And it's so important. You don't understand how important it is to be in the right mindset when you're creating content, because some days you're up and some days you're down, and you have to be consistent in this area. So having these core things figuring out your why, knowing how you communicate best, to not advertise and communicate, and to just start and not to be afraid of what people are going to think is so important. This is honestly how I started creating content, and the things that I figured out through my journey of creating content for Simply PHP, creating content for myself, and going through this, I know you guys are going to be successful. So that's the end of my presentation. Really short. Like I said, I think this has been 25, maybe 30 minutes. Nothing too long, too crazy. I know it's a Sunday, And let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want to see this on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. What questions you have around content creation. Again, this was very, mindset oriented, what you need to do mentally before you start writing or making videos or making content in general. If you want to learn how to start a podcast or a YouTube channel, a series on YouTube, how to answer people's questions, whatever it might be, comment your questions below. I'm going to look it over. I'm going to figure out what the next live will be in the next episode. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to help. This is the first episode, and hopefully I can have a lot more with all you guys' help. So please let me know what you think. I'm open to criticism. So again, thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna be signing off and taking the rest of the day off and enjoying my Sunday. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a kick-ass Monday. Thank you guys so much. Take care.